So there is a quiet but powerful truth at the heart of our spiritual journey, one that is both simple and at times deeply challenging to live it. And the truth is this. You want to know? It's very simple. This life is yours. Not partly yours, not conditionally yours, not someday yours. This life, and then we're defining that as your experiences, your perceptions, your responses, your inner world, is yours right now. And that is both the greatest freedom and the greatest responsibility that we'll ever encounter. In the introduction of this book, This Life is Yours, that we're going to be using for our series for the next several weeks, by Reverend Linda Martella Whitsett, and who was a classmate of mine back in the day, and her daughter, Alecia Whitsett, offer us a bold spiritual premise. We are not here to control life. We are here to take ownership of our experience of life. I want you to hear that again. We are not here to control life. In fact, it's futile. We try, but that's not what we came here to do. We came here to take ownership of the way we experience how life shows up. And it may sound subtle, but it changes everything if we really take that to be a truth for us. So often we believe our lives are shaped primarily by what happens to us, what others say or do, circumstances that we certainly didn't choose to have as a part of our life experience, events that feel unfair or unexpected. And yet, our spiritual core beliefs call us into a higher awareness. They ask us to embrace this idea that our power is not in controlling the outer conditions, but in choosing our inner response. It's not about how life happens out here, it's what we do with it within our own experience of it. And this is where spiritual mastery begins. The journey to healing and wholeness starts with ownership. I know sometimes that's kind of hard, depending on what's going on in your life, to hear. Ownership really is simply about recognizing that my thoughts are mine, that my interpretations are mine. Even if I can get 100 people to agree with me that that's a correct interpretation, it's still mine. The reactions I have are mine. The experience of life for me is mine to own. And here's the part that can really feel uncomfortable at first, that even when something happens that we didn't choose, how we experience it is within our spiritual authority. How many of you believe that's true? It's both a little bit scary. Sometimes it evokes a sense of blame, like, now we have to take ownership of everything that's unfolded in our life. And yet, when we can truly embrace it all, it becomes our source of power. Because if it's ours, then we have the power to shift and shape it however we choose to. So this is not about blame. This is not about saying, oh my God, look at everything I caused in my life by the way I responded or reacted or any of that stuff. It is really about empowerment. It's not about what's happened in the past. It's about how do I choose to step into whatever's happening right now, today. Or if I didn't do so good today, how can I choose to step into it in a new way tomorrow? Because in every moment, we get that opportunity. Our core principles our core principles never teach blame. Blame is not in the equation of the spiritual journey. There's no blame in God, and it's really spiritually not there to be a part, regardless of what maybe our religion of origin may have told us. Because if we're not the authors of our experience, then we're powerless. It's just always going to happen to us, and there's not anything we can do about it. But if we are, and if we can claim ourselves as the authors, then everything can change. One of the most important distinctions, I think, in this teaching is the difference between responsibility and blame. You know, blame can say there's something wrong with me, or I messed up, or I should have done better. Even when you get past projecting it out there, then we usually turn it on ourselves. Responsibility says I have the power to choose differently. I can interpret this differently. I can respond to it from a higher awareness. Blame ultimately keeps us stuck in the past, and responsibility frees us in this present moment. And if we're honest, and certainly I've witnessed it happening in my own life at times, we have this sort of innate habit, unconsciously, of giving our power away. How many times, and this is going to be one of the invitations that you're going to get to practice with this week, how many times have we said things like, well, they made me so angry. That ruined my day when that happened. I can't be at peace while all of this chaos is going on in my life. But notice what happens when we say things like that. We place our inner state in someone else's hands. We make our peace conditional on what's happening out there. We wait for life to change before we allow ourselves to feel whole, to feel safe, to feel loved. The spiritual truth is this: peace is not something that we wait for, it's something that we choose. It's not something that's dependent upon anything else but us making that choice. And I know this sounds very simple to say, and it's very complex and difficult and challenging to live out, but it begins by just coming to that awareness in our own minds and hearts. This first chapter of the book also highlights the role that interpretation plays in our experience of life. So imagine with me, two people are caught in a sudden thunderstorm, perhaps last night. And one says, this is terrible. It's ruined my party. It's ruined everything that's happening that I had plans for. And the other person responds, well, this is unexpected. I wonder what good might come as a result of this outer shift. It's the same storm. It's the same experience of the two people. The difference is not in the weather or in the circumstances, but it's in the consciousness. It's in the way we think and feel about it. Two people, and I imagine you've had this experience if you've lived for a while, can experience the same event and walk away with completely different realities. Because what we experience is not just what happens, it's what we make it to mean. And we're really good at making up stories. I don't know if you remember back when we were doing nonviolent communication, and that's the way we, when something was going on and you had interpreted with somebody else that they may be mad or upset with you, what we're taught to do then is to go, the story I'm making up about this is that you're mad at me, you're whatever it might be. And more times than not, that person says, what are you talking about? I don't even remember saying that to you. I don't even remember doing that, It had nothing to do with you. And this is why we place such emphasis on practices that help us shift and consciously focus our minds, our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings, our inner dialogue. So we're going to get a chance to practice this a little bit this morning, to take a few moments to bring into our own minds and hearts something that may be challenging us right now, that we're seeing through a certain lens, and to just begin to see if there might be a different way to understand and interpret it. So if you're willing, I would just invite you to get comfortable where you're at. You might want to just uncross everything, and if it's comfortable, just close your eyes or soften your gaze and focus on some area of the room, just so that you can bring your attention inward. And we always begin this time of centering with a deep breath, allowing that breath to bring us fully into this present moment, because that's the only place the breath can be. And as we just take a few deep breaths, we can feel our bodies, perhaps the thoughts racing through our minds begin to slow down and relax. With another breath, we can feel that center of our heart beginning to open to the awareness of love's presence right here and right now. And we just keep breathing in, almost now as if we're breathing in and out of our heart space. And in this place where love is the lens from which we can see our life through, I just invite you to bring into this sacred space a certain challenge that might be going on in your life that may be disturbing your peace or causing upset or worry or fear. Just invite it in to this space. And as it plays in your own inner eye, in your own awareness of that both human and spiritual journey, when you observe how you've thought about it, how you've reacted and responded in the midst of it, how you have engaged with it, simply ask that highest wisdom that is within you to reveal how this situation and the way that you've engaged with it is giving your power away. How in this situation am I making my peace conditional? Perhaps it's to illuminate how that unconscious reaction stepped in to the midst of it instead of being able to consciously choose. Ask your highest wisdom, how can I see this differently? And where am I being called to choose differently? We'll just move into a few moments of silence so that you can listen deeply as you open your mind and your heart to your spiritual, eternal nature and how it's being called to express into this human experience. And take another deep breath with me and affirm deep into your being the truth that I have the power to choose. I have within me all that is needed to be at peace, to see things through the lens of love, and to experience life knowing that I am deeply loved. I am safe. I am whole. I am a divine child of God. And then as you're ready, you can begin to bring your attention back to this time and space, aware once again of the chair supporting you and the sounds in the room. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So what does this look like in everyday life? It's easy when we're in a room of people that are all kind with each other and supportive to go, yeah. But how do we walk out the doors and show up? Well, I think the first thing it looks like is that we practice and we get better at pausing before reacting. The breath can be a perfect place to do that. It looks like noticing your thoughts and taking time to ask, are those thoughts serving me? And if they're not, remembering that you can choose different thoughts. It looks like choosing a new perspective when the old one creates suffering. If you find yourself suffering, I want you to know you have the power to change that narrative. You may not have the power to change the situation at all, but you have the power to change the narrative and the way that you engage with it in your inner life. It looks like reminding yourself that I may not have chosen this moment, but I can choose how to meet it. If you take nothing with you from this, just to remember when those things are happening, I may not have chosen, I may not understand, it may not feel fair that this moment is happening, but I have the power to choose how I meet it. This, we've talked about spiritual maturity, spiritual intelligence. This is what spiritual maturity looks like. This is conscious living. We're awake to it. And this means that you can truly claim that this life is yours. As we move through this series, or as you continue reading the book, or we still have one more opportunity if you wanted to join a spirit group and delve deeper into this on Saturday mornings. There's a sign-up sheet back there, or you can join Adult Sunday School, and they will be exploring the message in a little bit more depth next Sunday. The message today, they're always kind of a week behind. I just encourage you to do that because it has the power to transform your life, and that's what we're about. Part of this journey is becoming your own spiritual detective. Nobody else can really tell you. Nobody else really knows what your life experiences have brought you to this place and what underlying beliefs you might have about them, but you can be asking the question and spending a little time each day reflecting. Sometimes I like to do this at the end of the day. Where did I kind of fall off the spiritual awareness of who I am? Where am I giving my power away? Where am I making my own peace unconditional or conditional? Where am I reacting? Especially where am I reacting unconsciously instead of choosing what I say or what I do? And gently, and the key to this is without judgment, because if this just becomes another way for you to blame yourself or how inadequate you are, then you've missed the boat. You're just going to keep spinning in that same thing. But without judgment, just bring yourself back to the truth that this life is mine to experience. This moment is mine to meet. And this awareness is mine to choose. There is something deeply sacred about realizing that this life is yours. No one can think your thoughts for you. No one can choose your perspective for you. No one can live your consciousness for you. And ultimately, that's not a burden. A burden is a blessing, because it means that no matter what is happening around you, you have the power to choose how you meet it. You have the power to heal, because that's ultimately what it brings you, is a healing in body, in mind, in emotions, and in spirit. All right, well, it is our opportunity now to share of our financial good with this community. In just a moment, the ushers are going to invite you to come up row by row, and you can place your gift in the larger basket and then receive an affirmation to bless you this week. And even if you give electronically, or this is not your Sunday to share, we'd love for you to come and just experience walking in that flow of giving and receiving. You can use the little card that says I give electronically, or simply just put your hand over the basket. Add your energy of abundance and prosperity flowing in and through this community. We take a moment now to just join and offer our hands, the gifts in our hearts to this ministry as we bless it together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother God.
All right, why don't we stand up? We're going to join hands and do our peace song together.
And so as we go into this day, into this week, remembering that this life is mine to live, we go knowing our prayer for protection. We'll do it as call and response. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Together, wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All right, you too.